Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Sing 24 TV. This is the Nationalist show with Kennedy Abong. Our topic for today is Ruto-Museveni ties. What does that relationship has in store for us Kenyans? Before we discuss that topic, do kindly subscribe if you're watching us for the first time, or if you've been watching us and yet to subscribe, and also click that notification bell so that you're notified whenever we post. So, on to the topic. First of all, let us understand one thing, that Museveni has always have this bad relationship with Right Honorable Raila Odinga. It goes back to 2007, 2008, post-election violence. That time, a lot of Ugandan businesses were affected, and mostly because it was on Nyanza's side of Kenya. So a lot of their trucks and everything, businesses, was greatly affected. So from that point onwards, there was this narrative that was sold in Uganda that Raila Odinga is bad for business. And that narrative has been sold so much since 2007 up to 2002. And indeed, President Ruto realized this and decided to take advantage and cultivate a very strong relationship with President Museveni of Uganda. And that is why in 2021 or 2020 we saw a lot of visits by DP Ruto then, as it then was, to Uganda. And these visits at some point made President Uhuru, who was his boss at that time, very uncomfortable. But now that is the president, we are seeing again that he visited, particularly this week, he went again to Uganda and had talks with President Museveni. So, the friendship between Ruto and Museveni was something that was cultivated as a way so that Uganda, or Museveni in particular, can have an alternative person that can actually take on Raila. So in 2002, when the election actually came and Ruto won the election, Museveni in particular was quite happy with that outcome. You see, so there is this thing about his son which was created, and I believe that was really created as a way of diverting attention on what is actually going on between Museveni and President Ruto. It is not surprising that just the week after, within this week, when his son wrote about invading Nairobi or taking over Nairobi in a week's time or in 2 weeks, then President Ruto left the country and visited Uganda. It tells you a lot more that there is a lot more to that kind of relationship between President Museveni and President Ruto than meets the eye. Both people, or both presidents, now stand tall. Kenya being the most powerful in the region, but Museveni, in terms of his influence, being the most powerful president, I think, in the region. You could argue that against that if you consider president or the president of Rwanda being also the most powerful. So one thing is for sure about this is that Museveni is a self-serving individual, and the relationship between him and Ruto is not in any way going to benefit us Kenyans. Because if this is a man who at some point, when he was being questioned about his cling on power, said he does so because of his family. So he's a man who is only loyal unto himself and to his family. So he is self-serving, and that is not going to change. And any relationship that he gets into is intended to serve his personal goal. Therefore, I do not see how his relationship with President Ruto will benefit us Kenyans in particular. However, there is the possibility that these two men are working on a personal relationship or want to develop some kind of business empire. Ruto may be looking for business opportunity there for his own businesses rather than for Kenya. I'm also more convinced that Ruto and Museveni are serving the interest of only their families and their businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of our analysis on Ruto-Museveni ties. If you agree with our thoughts, do leave a comment there. If you don't agree, also we wish to know what you think about that tie. Thank you very much.